Hey everyone, Tony Winston here, Jazz Piano College, and I don't care if the copyright demonetizes this video because I played the whole song. That's okay with me, but I'm going to go over the chord changes and a few other ideas on this song with you. And I'm also going to do a little book review, so you are welcome to skip past my book review. And today it's on Julia Child. And here she is. And, you know, there's 5 or 6 biographies of her, but I think this is the longest at 500 pages. And, you know, like most biographies, I think the most interesting part is before the person becomes famous and as they're, you know, gaining notoriety and becoming successful. It's a good book, and I'll just leave you with one quote. Julia Child said, "Every woman should have a blowtorch." I agree. You know, you can use your blowtorch this coming Tuesday. It's election day, so go out there and vote. All right, now let's look at the song here. I'll put a few other quotes down there in the description. You know, she's quite liberal, and but you know, not liberal in the kind of the pain in the ass kind of way. But anyway, let's get to the song. It's called "The Boy Next Door," but I think I've heard it "The Girl Next Door" more often than "The Boy Next Door." So, you know, you can go either way. Take that however you want. Okay, so, you know, what I did with this arrangement is a little bit wrong. Like right here, I wanted to get on this chord, which is like a G, 13, sharp 11. That's a very common chord. It's kind of built on like a G7. With like an A triad over top of it. You could call it an altered chord, but it really isn't, unless the 9th and the 13 are also altered. It's not really an altered dominant, but though the 11 is. So it's one of those mixtures. But what I preceded it with, I went like... So, you know, it just went down in there, but that is just so wrong. I mean, you got this horrible interval here, and then I did it again, and sometimes I put another note in there, like I'll go, what do I do? Maybe sometimes like, yeah, like that. Or even either one kind of sounds equally bad. And just a nice sus chord there. And I did some drop 2 here. Of course, that's based on the Barry Harris, whatever he calls it, that flat 6 thing. But, you know, in a major or minor key, you just go up the scale using, you know, either a minor 7th or a minor 6th chord, in this case, a minor 7th. And then you use the diminished chord on the 2nd degree of the scale, and then back to the original chord there, that's still C minor. Same diminished chord, like this. And, you know, that's all I did of it, because that's all there is in the melody. There's F dominant 7th. We've got the regular 9 there, so that eliminates the flat 9 or the sharp 9 from, you know, we can't use those. But we could add either the 13 or the flat 13, which are nice. And, you know, I guess there's a sharp 11 down there. The regular 11 just makes it suspended, which you could do. But you could do it like that, or... all kinds of possibilities there. Do what you want. And here, I guess I could have gone with those diminished chords again, the same principle, but I chose to just go and have that melody moving up while the bass line moves down. And then I kind of wanted to use drop 2 here, but it just didn't work out. I guess you could do it a little bit there. And here, this is one of my greatest discoveries even though Barry Harris discovered it first. As you go down to this diminished chord, you got to think, what diminished chords, what dominant seventh chords could you make out of that, by just lowering each note a half a step. All right? You could get E flat, dominant seventh. You could get C, dominant seventh. And it's a little dissonant, but it would sound really nice in some places. You could get A, dominant seventh, and you could get this F sharp dominant seventh. How did I do that now? Yeah, like that. So as you go up here, okay, here it is. So I use the A and then the F sharp. If you find a way to stick them all in there, or just use the F sharp there, or just use the diminished. But to me, I like using those triads. Even without the seventh, sounds pretty good. And I've used this trick to spice up my harmonies in many, many different arrangements. So that's a particularly good spot to use. And, there's probably all kinds of little shortcuts you could use. You're on the 3 chord, you're going down to the diminished and then to the C. Of course, you could go like cycle of fifths and have a completely different chord like that, or even the tritone substitution of that. But with the diminished chords here, one way I think of it is to find that F sharp chord quickly. I know it's a triad in second inversion, so I can find the F sharp quickly and just put in the seventh there. And this one is the second, or first inversion rather. The third is on the bottom of that A chord. All right, enough about this. Let's keep going. Now you could have not do that, just go right to the G chord. And then stick in the root. Now this is Bill Evans. People want advanced stuff all the time, but look how great this is, and it's just so simple. And, if you tried improvising like that, you'd come up with some pretty good lines, just using those 2 triads. That wasn't one, but, that's an idea. And here, you do the same thing, because E minor 7 flat 5 really is like the C 7th chord. So you could do this, or even this. Right? More altered sound. And I think I did this because as I go to G flat 7th, there it is. See, G flat. That's like the tritone away, see? So even if you were thinking C here, as soon as you put that in, you now have an F sharp chord, and I like it like this. G flat to F. And do I have the 9 in? No, but I could put it in, and the F also. Oh, well, the melody's the 9, so there you go. And B flat 6 9. If you don't know this voicing, root, third, 6 9 5, and the root again. Yeah, this is a classic thing. I think you can play this on guitar as well, like that. Or you can give it that Art Tatum touch by putting that major 7th right in there. He ends a number of his songs that way. did there, I was thinking about that F sharp chord, so I just played, you know, the rootless voicing for an F sharp dominant seventh. You know, still thinking about that Barry Harris thing. And look, it is really close to that diminished chord, right? It's just the diminished chord with the whole tone extension. So. No need to change chords there on that C to the F sharp. It's really the same thing. And there again, too, just one chord here, E minor 7 flat 5 for, you don't need to switch to that sharp 11. Just aim for it in your melody or your solo. And let me talk a little bit about soloing. It's so nice, especially on dominant chords, to aim for the flat 5 or the flat 9. So, like this song does that a lot. So if you're improvising, there I hit the flat 5. And there I hit the flat 9. There I hit the flat 9 again. There was the sharp 9. So just by aiming for those, what Miles call them, butter notes, the sweet sounding notes, aiming for those in your improv, yeah, I can't go wrong with that. Funny story now, I was much younger, probably in my early to mid 20s, really down on my luck, living in a $20 a week room in South Miami Beach. Then I moved in with my aunt and my uncle. And I remember going with my aunt to a concert. It was like a barbershop quartet type thing. And they sang The Boy Next Door. And every time they got to this flat 5, my aunt would look over at me like, what? They sound off. And they get to the next one. She looks at me again. What are they doing? I thought that was hilarious. Anyway, sheet music's in the description. Hit the like button, give me a nice comment or whatever you want to leave there. And I appreciate all the support. See you all again soon.